In this short tutorial, I'm going to show you how to use the event maker to manage a championship in RBRPRo. I'll show you how to configure the championship categories, how to configure the points, and how to use the event maker to create the scheduling of the championship and, of course, the roadbooks. In order to use the event maker, you have to be a collaborator of us. This means that you need a special account to use this add-on. I won't give you now the instructions about how to get and configure your account. When you become a collaborator, we will provide you the account and all the specific instructions to configure it. I'm gonna explain you how to use the event maker to manage the championship. Okay, let's switch to the event maker screen. What you are seeing now is the scheduling of the WRC Championship, and this account I'm using now is used to manage both the WRC and the ERC Championship. So you're seeing all the championship in the same calendar because I use only one account to manage two championships. The same thing could apply to you because when you become a collaborator of us, we will create one or more championship according to the number of championships you want to manage. And you can use each account to manage one or more championships. This is very important to understand. But usually we will provide you a single account to manage only one championship. However, if you have multiple accounts, you can select the account you want to use in this screen. When you select the account, the calendar of the account is loaded and you can start working on your championships. Okay, first of all, let's go in your championship screen. In this screen, you can select the championship you want to manage and start configuring the categories and points for it. What does it mean? In RBRPRo, each championship can have one or more categories, but the categories configuration is not only intended to decide which car categories are allowed in the championship. It also defines virtual categories so that you, for example, you can group Rally 2 and R5 cars under the same categories so that they appear in the same ranking. I'll show you now how to create a category. Let's click on the plus button so that a new category is created. Now we can change the category name, for example RC2. Okay. Now we have created an empty category whose name is RC2. Now we have to add to it one or more real categories. Okay, let's start by adding the Rally 2 category. I select the Rally 2 category from this menu and click on the plus button. Okay, the same I do with the R5 category. So now we have an RC2 category, which includes the Rally 2 and the R5 categories. Let me create another one. I again click on the plus button. I give it a name. Let's do RC3. And now I will add the R3 category and the Rally 3 category. And that's all. So we have now two virtual categories. What if I now save my configuration? If I save my configuration now, I will have a championship where the RC2 and the RC3 categories are allowed. This means that Rally 2 and the R5 cars will be allowed, but also the R3 and the Rally 3 cars, okay? Because they belong to my virtual categories. And of course the Rally 2 and the R5 cars will appear in the same ranking because they both belong to the RC2 category. Okay, this category all cars is a default one, and this doesn't mean that all cars are allowed in the event. Only the categories under it will be actually allowed. This all cars category is only used to configure points, and we will see later when we will talk about points. Okay, let's go on now with the championship configuration. A virtual category is a set of real categories, but it also can include single cars. This is useful sometimes when you want to exclude a specific car from a virtual category, or when you want to create a category for a single car or for a small number of cars. This is often the case of a cup. A cup is a way to have a secondary ranking for a specific car or group of cars. What does it mean? Let me show you how to create a cup. I click on the plus as usual. I'll give it the name of my cup. Okay, and I will add a car, for example, the Citroën DS3 WRC. Okay. Finally, I have to select this checkbox because this category is a cup. Okay, this way I created a cup whose name is my cup for this specific car. This means that in this championship the Citroën DS3 WRC will be in a separate ranking. Maybe you can have the WRC category as well included in your championship. This means that if I now create a new category and give it the name of WRC, I can maybe add the WRC category. Okay? In this case, the Citroën DS3 WRC will appear in two different rankings, namely the WRC category and the cup category, because a cup is a separate category. Of course, when creating a championship for RBRPRo, you should try to follow realistic rules. So please do your best to follow the same rules for categories and points used in the real championship you want to emulate on RBRPRo. Keep in mind that it is a common mistake to add the categories and also add the single cars one by one. This is a mistake because if I add the WRC category, I don't need to add each WRC car one by one. The category is enough. Adding the category automatically means that I added all the cars in that category. Okay, now that we know how to configure the categories, let's switch to the points configuration. In the points screen, we can give each virtual category its own points and power stage points table. This is quite easy. All I have to do is to select the category and start editing its points table. For example, I want to give 30 points for the first position, 25 points to the second one, and so on. And same for the power stage point. So this is very, very simple. I just select the row and edit the value here, and it is automatically updated. Of course, if I don't touch the points table and leave all the values at 0, this means that no points will be assigned at all for the power stage in this case. Okay, so in this WRC category, no power stage points will be assigned. Keep in mind that it's really important that all this configuration is done before the championship starts. Once the championship has once the results of the first event are imported, you cannot change the configuration anymore. If you do it, the results can be unpredictable, so please don't do it. Okay, now that the championship configuration is complete, let's switch to the calendar and I'll show you how to create the schedule. To create a new event in the calendar, I just click on the new button. Okay. The screen on the right will become blank and I can start to enter a new event. I give it the name of my first RBRPRo event. Okay, now let's give it a start date and an end date. By default, the start date is today, but keep in mind that the event maker will give a fixed time for the event start and for the event finish. Namely, for the start date, we have a fixed time of UTC midnight. UTC means universal time, namely the Greenwich time. So this means that our event will start at midnight of 21 March and will finish on 11:59 p.m. of the 28th. We cannot change the times, we can only change the date. So if I want that my event starts immediately, I can select yesterday. Doing so, the start date is set to the midnight of yesterday, and this means that when I save my event, it will start immediately. The maximum duration is at the moment of 10 days. So we can, for example, create an event which finish on the 30th of March. Now we can select the championship associated to the event we want to create. The second championship is optional, and it is used when you want to create an event which is part of two different championships at the same time. The option pack and track settings, we will skip them for now because we don't need them to start creating events. I can also add an optional description. This description will appear in the calendar. Okay, this is my first event. If I just want to save my event without making it visible in the calendar, I can remove the check on this box, visible in calendar. This means that when I save the event will be visible in my schedule, but it will be hidden in the calendar and not visible to other players. This is useful when I'm still working on the event and I just want to create the event and save it without making it visible to others. Okay. I will make my event invisible and save it. And as you can see, the event shows in the event schedule. Let's switch now to the roadbook screen because we created an event, but the event still doesn't have a roadbook. I recommend you to start by adding a number of events by clicking on the plus button. In this box you can choose the stage you want to add and you can click on the plus button to add a number of events in the roadbook. Now we can select each row and give them the special stage we want to add to the roadbook. For example, let's start with a tarmac stage whose length is between 3 and 6 kilometers. This will filter all the tarmac stage with this length, and we can select a stage. I'll select this one. Okay. It is a nice thing that we can see the map for the selected stage so that we can see if the stage we are adding is the most appropriate for the roadbook we want to build. Okay, I can use the filter or not. If I already know the name of the stage, I don't need the filter, of course. Let's add another tarmac stage. When you see this red error message, this means that the weather conditions you selected are not supported. So in this case, for this stage, Era del Cardón, morning crisp clear is not allowed. So what I have to do is to click on this question mark button and see which combinations are allowed for this stage. For example, I can use noon crisp clear or morning heavy rain, heavy cloud. So let's switch to noon crisp clear, and as you can see the red disappears. This combination is okay, but it is also okay if I select morning light fog, light cloud, morning light fog, light fog, light cloud. Okay. It could be possible that the stage doesn't support a specific surface wetness or a specific surface age. For example, if I select wet, it is possible that this stage doesn't support wet. Would result in a crash when starting the stage. So it's really useful that the event maker warns you that something is not allowed. As you can see, if the combination you selected requires the use of the headlights, you will see this square night, but this doesn't mean that the stage is nightly. It just means that the weather condition you selected requires the use of the headlights because it's dark or maybe there's some fog, as in this case, and you need the headlights to improve the visibility. If you want to mark the stage as a power stage, and we can only mark one stage in the roadbook as a power stage, we can use this checkbox. For example, I can select the last stage in the roadbook and make it a power stage. Okay, let's switch now to the service park. This is very important. When you select a row, you can add a service park to it. For example, I can add a 15 minutes service park on the SS3, okay? Instead, the tires menu is used when you want to force a specific kind of tires on a stage. For example, I can force the tarmac tires on the SS1 by selecting tarmac dry tires. And of course, since you can't change the tires till the next service park, they will be forced to run with tarmac dry tires through SS1, SS2 and SS3. And only at SS4, after the service park, they will be able to change tires. At a service park, you can also add a forced game restart. This is useful sometimes when you want to force players to close the game. We use this in the case of long sessions to force player to not make too long sessions and have a break, okay? Finally, you can add personal notes on each stage. This is useful to take some notes when editing the roadbook. And you can decide the number of mechanics and their skill using these menus. These are general to all the roadbooks. It's not stage by stage. This means that through all the roadbook, the number of mechanics and their skill will be this one, okay? Number of mechanics and their skill have an impact on the player's ability to repair their car at service parks. Well, next thing, and please don't forget this step, is that you can upload a banner to make the calendar nicer. Uploading a banner is very easy. Just keep in mind that the image format should be 12080 by 720 pixels and the image format should be a JPG. This is because the JPEG format is a bit smaller and this optimizes the downloads time. When you're finished, don't forget to make your event visible in the calendar or it will be hidden forever and nobody will play it. This would be a shame, okay? And save your event. We'll see now the complaints management. While the event is in progress, the rally manager could receive some complaints from players. For example, a player may send a complaint if he received an unjustified penalty. Or maybe he had a bug and asked for a restart. In this case, the rally manager can evaluate the situation and decide if to approve or reject the complaint. Keep in mind that when you allow or reject a restart or approve or reject a complaint, the player will receive a notification email. And we are at the final part of this tutorial, namely how to import the results after the event finish. What the good rally manager have to do is to select the event and click on this import button. As you can see, the event maker imports the result. This means that it downloads the results and shows you the rankings with the points and the stars assigned to each player according to the championship configuration. This is useful because if you did some mistakes in your configuration, this gives you a chance to realize it before uploading the results to the server. So for example, if I did a mistake on the points table and I see that no points are assigned to the players, I can go to my championship configuration, fix the issue, and only after I upload the results to the server. Then before uploading the results to the server, you should always check the stars and the points assigned to each player to understand if there are some configuration mistakes. Of course, you will do this only for the first events in the championships to make sure that all is correct. Once you're sure that your configuration is good, you can just click on the button upload scores and upload the results to the server. Uploading the results to the server means that I am assigning the stars and the points for this event to the players, and I am also uploading the final ranking on the server that will become visible in the RBRPRo manager. If you did upload scores and then you realize that you made some mistake or something is wrong, no panic. You have this button undo upload. This will remove all the scores from the server and will give you the chance to fix the mistakes and repeat the upload operation.